Hello JMixers. Today we're going to take a look into the interesting topic and we'll discuss some interesting case study of collaboration between performance engineering and performance load with automation in functional testing. Idea behind is when we using a JMeter and JMeter automation as an Azure pipeline, we can simulate desired amount of load into the system and capture number of metrics and KPIs. Having those numbers available for us not necessarily truly represent user experience. So again, idea behind, how about if you run in parallel two different pipelines? One pipeline, which is located in our hosted environment and executed by Azure, will load the system, and another pipeline will use automated functional framework and simulate a user experience, record videos and screenshots, and give us a better understanding of what's going on. As a part of this case study, we're going to review the installation of a Cypress Automation Framework on our local PC. We will record a first script and we'll do the first run. We will configure reportings, we'll review results, then we will move everything into the Azure and configure Azure, execute Azure pipeline, and we'll do some conclusions. Cypress required number of prerequisites. One of them, it is Java. So we are going to install Java. Well, because we already using JMeter, which is by default required Java, I'm sure we all know how to do that. Just in case, we're going to verify what version we have. So Java version, and we have version 8, which is fine for Cypress. Next thing, we need to download it, another prerequisites, which is Node.js. We're going to download it 64-bit version and install it. So I already downloaded. Accept. Let's do different drive. All right. Yes, I do. And we're done. Next thing, as the editor, code editor, we're going to install Visual Studio Code from that URL. Again, for Windows 7, 8, and 10. Going to use System Installer, 64 bits. Let's change it to, again, different drive. Can create desktop item. So, okay, we have a Visual Studio Code installed. So now we need to create a directory.
I'm gonna create a directory projects. Okay. So in Visual Studio Code, we're going to File, Open New Folder, and we're going to navigate to one we just created. So now we need to get to the command prompt in Studio. So here, I'm gonna click right there and click on Terminal. And that's our working directory, and that's how we're gonna continue to work and do additional settings. So now we're going to initialize our project by typing npm init. So clicking enter, our version, description, gonna be Cypress project index test. You can skip that keyboard. License can leave it as it is. Yes. Now we see package is there. This is our task description. Alright. Next thing, we're going to install actual Cypress on our machine by entering npm space install Cypress. Then to ensure that we have a safe depository, save dash dev, hit enter. So it's going to install Cypress, create additional changes into the package.json file, and then we continue. I'm gonna stop video for a second and continue when it's completed. Still running. So now it's installed. You can see that node modules were added with all necessary components. We look in the package.json, it was added dependency there. So now we're going to run our cipher for the first time. In order to do that, we're going to go to Cypress documentation and add additional line of code into the our script. So right here in the documents section of cypress.io, we're going to add a script to open a Cypress in our project. So we're gonna copy this line, go over here. This is our task which we created. right? In a package JSON using some syntax as requested, putting comma and placing it here. Now we need to save it. Control S, or just go to File and Save. See, Control S shortcut. All right. And in the command prompt, we can type a special command to run it. That command is npm space run space Cypress semicolon open, and hit enter, or you can highlight and just click run script. So now it's telling us that it's our first time for Cypress run. So let it be for a second, and we're going to see Windows, new Windows open. Here we are, and that is showing us some additional examples of the scripts which provided for our investigation. We're going to concentrate on that later. For now, let's minimize it for now. Or actually, we can close it. So let's try to write our first script. So under directory integration, we're going to create new file. Oops, I'm sorry. Create new file, and we're gonna name it first test.js. All right, so going back to the Cypress documentation under writing your first test, we will use that specific command to see if it's actually gonna work. Now Control S. Going to back to package JSON and run script. Here's our first test we just created. Let's click on it and see what we have. So it's successfully ran. It's showing that it's green and successful, no errors. So which is good. Now we try to do something more complicated. To make our life easier and be able to record the scripts in a specific format, it is a plugin for Chrome. It's called Cypress Recorder. Someone very smart created, and let's try to utilize it. I'm going to add extension. So it was added to Chrome. Great. Now let's try to record something. So let's navigate to any test site just quickly, and going to start recording. Now we're going to enter something. Test user. and sign in. So it's failed, it's expected. We have some error messages. Let's stop the recording, copy to clipboard, and try to utilize it. So this is what was recorded. As you can see, we've done number of clicks. We enter some values. Let's see how it's going to work. So let's create a new test under integration, new file, go second test.js. All right, and here we're going to add some data, actually code. All right, let's see. So first line it will be description of our test. So it will be describe, keyword, and then special syntaxes. Next one is special keyword. It. That means we're gonna run that specific code, and we name it run login to the page. Now we're going to our recorded codes and place it between brackets. Theoretically it should work. I'm not really sure about this one. Let's comment it out because I'm not really familiar with that website. So I'm not really sure it is just garbage or something else. We don't need to do second click. Just clean it up a little bit. So I think this is it. So Control S, I'm gonna save it. Go to package.json and just run the script and see. Right, let's do run script. All right. So here's our second test. Let's see. Here we go. It just successfully executed. So let's check for some assertion. Let's say we want to make sure this is fail and assert that specific text. So let's close the browser, minimize this, and we're going to add additional command. An additional command will be get, then that element is error. Explain you why. It is a good trick there, and that should mean assertion contains the text, and this is what it should be. Let's do Control S, save it, and run the test again. All right. So our assertion is also pass, so it did find. So how do I know this is .error? Right here. So I said specify .error. It is an element name. An element name could be found by that specific element finder. If you click on it, highlight it, click on it, you see cu.get arrow. So you can copy to the clipboard, and if you go to your test again, and let's get to the next page, next line, Control V, here we are. This is your element. So finding elements relatively simple, which is good. So again, I'm comparing to Selenium, which also has its tricks, but so far I kind of like it. So in order to run reports after running our tests, we need to install report generators. So here's the most popular 6 report generators, which I suggest. We're going to use them for hosted environment load, hosted environment run, as well for Azure. So you just need to run those 6 commands, which you can see I ran 5 of those right here. Okay, now I'm gonna run the last one, and this one is important for us, that we can use our Cypress in Azure environment. This is the ultimate goal, to have Cypress in Azure. So let's run this one. So it's finished, right? We can now look into the our package.json, and we can see all the references, dependency to our Cypress projects. So it is Cypress, Cypress multi-reporter, Mocha, Mocha JUnit, Mocha Awesome, Mocha Awesome Merge, and Mocha Awesome report generator. So those important, okay? Moving forward.
So next step, we need to modify or create our Cypress JSON. Cypress JSON is a config file for our Cypress framework, and we need to do the following: that our report will be generated after each run. So please pay attention. Specifically, it is important that we specify that reporter enable Mocha welcome and Mocha JUnit reporter. That give us ability in Azure run HTML report and XML report, which supported by Azure. Azure does not support HTML report. So in pipeline, if you don't specify JUnit, you won't be able to see progress of your pipeline runs, and it is important. So pay attention to this line. Then this is your report directory for HTML file. We're saying that we want HTML true and JSON, that's important as well, true. Timestamp will be added to each of your HTML report. And then we're going to say we want as well JUnit report, and that will be saved in the Cypress main directory reports JUnit results, and result, and I'm gonna get hash to the end of the name of the file to make it unique. Alright, moving forward. As you saw previously, we created the our test plan. We call it second test, and now we're going to run it and see what type of output we're going to have in sense of reporting and other stuff. As I was previously suggesting, in our package JSON we have two commands. One is Cypress open, that will run Cypress interface GUI, and you can execute the script from there, but running script from GUI interface will not create and generate any reports and outputs. That mostly for debugging and such. By using command Cypress run, that will run all the script in the integration directory, including sub directory. In our case, we are interested to run only one script. We call it second test, right? To do that, we can use command prompt and do the following. We're going to run this command, changing our directory to where Cypress Framework is located. So how are we going to do that? First, we're going to change directory where our Cypress Framework installed. Then we're going to type a command following as node modules /bin /Cypress, and Cypress is an executable which will run actual Cypress, and then we're saying run, and we're going to say specific script, and then we're gonna pass a name of a script, and where it's located in Cypress, right here, Cypress integration, my scripts, and then second test. So by default, Cypress is going to run script in the embedded browser, which call Electron. If you want to specify different browser, you can type a command two dashes headed and then two dashes browser, and name of a browser like Chrome or Firefox, and so you can look in the documentation of Cypress. I'm gonna run it silently just for speed of the test. So hit enter, and in a second it's gonna start running. It says Electron 89. This is standard Cypress browser. So it's running page saying how many tests it's ran, and basically it's finished. But now let's take a look at our output. As you can see, JUnit result now has a file, and this XML report, which will be later used by Azure. Now we have our XML report, HTML report, and we have a JSON. And I'll go show you in a second how does that report look. So this is our report, this one. It's showing what was done. It also has a JSON, which also used by Azure, and we'll sort of need it to have it. We also can see when it was started, when it's end, duration, and such, right? Pass rate and such. It's also created a video, and we're gonna take a look what's showing there. And this is the video file which was captured. You can see what it does. Okay, so now we are doing some assertion in our script, and now script pass. So interesting, what's going to happen if script fail? How system going to behave? In order to do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment out our assertion, because we are using the correct plugin, and it's sending us error message, and we're checking for this error message. So let's say we also going to check for error message, but we're going to say that text going to be blah blah blah. All right, so we know for sure it's going to fail. So let's save it, Control S, and we're going to run it one more time and see what else we're going to have. So I'm going to run it again. So test is running. Now it's saying it's have a problem. We can see that one test was run, failed one, and actually a screenshot was taken. Very interesting to see what's happened. In fact, video was created, and screenshot is right here. And report was created right here, and JSON report was created here. Okay, let's see. Now you see we have additional reports, and we're going to check it in a second what they say. And if you look in the screenshot, it has a screenshot which failed, right? So let's see what's there. So this is our report. All right, it's showing that it's failed. It's showing that it's expected blah blah blah, but text is that, which we know, right, because of this commented line. This is our screenshot of error. So it's pretty nice feature. We can send it to developer for investigation. And this is our video. And now it's supposed to fail. And as you can see, it's showing the fail result in the video as well. So we can say how the system works in a live mode. So now we surely can say our script is working fine, and we need to move that system into the Azure, configure it, install it, and try to run it. So next step, we're going to add our project into the GitHub repository. You can choose whatever you want. I have Cypress run repository under my account, and we're going to create following directory structure with some files. First, it's going to be directory Cypress, and under that directory will be fixture, integration, plugins, reports with subdirectory JUnit results. This directory is empty. It has only readme txt file just to keep this directory on. And support. That directory path is important for Azure to be able to see the XML report file. So whatever you change, whatever you do, pay attention to it. Now, so very important is the package JSON. It has all dependencies, plus it has one additional line compared to one we run on the standalone PC. This line called 1, and then it's going to run Cypress command for specific script. This is our second test script. As I showed previously, that command is executed in the command prompt. It's pretty much will be done using Azure. Okay, so this is important. Next one, you need to copy package log JSON. It has all necessary schemas and dependencies. And JSON Cypress Cypress.json config file did not change at all. It's exactly what we have in the standalone run. Okay. So now going to Azure. All right, you already know how to create release pipeline. If not, take a look at my previous videos about JMeter running on Azure. First is the data depository, right, where our repo is located. It's going to locate it in GitHub, right here, Cypress run, right? We are creating a source to whatever your GitHub source is located to that folder. It's going to be in main branch, and your source alias will be that. In the pipeline is very simple. So first, we configure an agent. That's going to be Windows 2018. It is not on hosted, it is Microsoft hosted server, and this makes sense. Then when you run your JMeter, you have your own control big load engine machine, but using Cypress, you want to locate your runs on a different geolocations, and that is a perfect solution that Microsoft will provide you. Actually, if you have a paid account, you can specify where you want to have those Windows servers located, on what geolocation. You can create 5, 6 of them, whatever, as many as you want, and run those pipelines. So it's going to be Windows 2018. Pretty much everything else will be by default. The next one, npm install. So this is basically saying to virtual machine, go ahead and install npm, and this is command install. In fact, that's what you are getting from GitHub. You can see all those, right? Next one will be the same element, but now difference will be it's going to be custom command, and the command will be run1. As I show you a couple seconds ago, that means it's going to run this run1, and this is what is going to run that specific test. Okay, one more thing we need to pay attention to in npm run code, it is the control option. By default it is enabled as well. We need to check the continue on error. Why do we need to do that? If that step failed because of script failure, whole pipeline will stop working. We will not get the report published into the Azure. We will not get the artifacts published as well. So this is also important step. So please pay attention to it. Now, this one publish results, and this one is a little bit difficult. I had to spend a little time to figure it out how to do that. But using that config file, right? Need to pay attention where this report, JUnit report, is go. Because this is important, right? So over here, you're basically saying test format JUnit, where to find that XML file. That means look for every subdirectory and try to find a file which called result. We start with result dash and everything else .xml. That XML will be generated by running code, npm run code, based on that config. So after your code is finished, that file, that XML file, will be created, and next step we'll look for that one to address to Azure dashboard. And next one, you want to upload artifacts, and those artifacts will contain your HTML report, JSON, XML report, video, and screenshots if errors happen, right? So I'm sure it's clear. So now we can create release and run it and see what's gonna happen. So our pipeline is almost finished, and we're going to look at the results. First of all, we're going to download logs. So this is a zip file. We can see all the logs which our system created. Okay.
But most important and interesting, this additional zip file which contain reports. This is our JUnit report. This is our HTML report. You're already familiar with that. Also download our video. Now let's look in our task plan runs. This indicates that task was completed. If you click on it, we have some results. If we click in the releases, click on analysis, we can see that our report represents number of runs with passes and failure I ran earlier, and to show what metrics does it show, and it's exactly the same as I've done in the self-hosted environment. You can see that it's failed right there. It's expected blah blah blah, but getting this. All right. If you click on the releases, we can look in the result that way as well and get to the results. So it's pretty much fully functional Azure reporting system. Not sure if this one will show. No, it does. So whole purpose of this case study is to collaborate between performance testing, performance engineering, and functional testing, combine it under one umbrella of continuous integration, run load test using Azure pipeline on our own hosted load engines, and in parallel execution run Cypress Automation Framework on Microsoft hosted environments, which could be located in different geolocations, capturing some data, screenshots, videos, and other things to have better understanding and representation of our test cases, and in fact be able to see truly user experience with the system under the load. So I hope you like this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thank you very much and have a great day. See you later.